Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you all my Dark Scorpion Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile for September 2020. I've been wanting to build a Dark Scorpion deck for a good while now, and the biggest thing, or the biggest problem I had while collecting all the different cards were just, remembering where I put all the different Dark Scorpions. There are 5 different Dark Scorpions in total, including Don Zalug. This was a very interesting deck from the GX era in which they were part of the Shadow Riders game, and they went up against Chaz during the Shadow Riders arc for the Sacred Beasts. They were dual spirits, and they had definitely a lot of different spell support that maybe we'll one day see in the actual TCG to help fully support the Dark Scorpion deck as a whole. But still, I wanted to try my luck with a version of the deck that focuses on all the different Dark Scorpions and the support we do have for them, and focusing on the fact that they are Dark Attribute Warrior monsters with interesting effects when they inflict battle damage to your opponent. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the actual monsters, the leader of the Dark Scorpions is Don Zalug. Definitely a very interesting monster at that, especially if you watch the dub of the GX anime. They had a definitely interesting interpretation for Don Zalug, but he is your boss monster of the deck. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can activate one of these effects. You can discard one random card from their hand, or you can send the top 2 cards of their deck to the graveyard. So definitely situation-wise, a interesting type of card. You might not want to send the top 2 cards of their deck to the graveyard unless they're playing a deck in which they need to get a very important card that wouldn't help them in their graveyard. The discard one random card from their hand is definitely a more important and useful card, because just being able to dwindle your opponent's hand size definitely can affect the type of plays they want to do for their deck. And Don Zalug also is a big focus on one of the spell cards we run in the deck, so you want to have 3 of this card just for the play style that you want to go for, revolving around a lot of different important plays in the deck for this card altogether. For another good backup card for Don Zalug, I'm also running 3 Dark Scorpion Mene the Thorn. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can activate one of these effects. You can add 1 Dark Scorpion card from your deck to your hand, or you can target 1 Dark Scorpion card in your graveyard and add that target to your hand. So we really only have the monsters and the 1 Dark Scorpion spell to go off of. If you remember in the anime, we even had a spell card for Mene that focuses on having her and Don Zalug on the field, sacrificing Mene to destroy all monsters your opponent controls. I guess I would love to see this support one day in the actual Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG, but until then we'll have to make do with just the monsters that you can use for all of the different Dark Scorpion plays. But having search power with Mene is definitely useful, or just being able to recycle them from your graveyard back to your hand. You have all these different options using Mene in the deck, and being one of the more defensive ones with the 1800 defense works very, very well if you need to play, like I said, the defensive style. And being a level 4, you can also go for Xyz plays with Don Zalug if need be also. For some of the lower level Dark Scorpion monsters, I'm also running 3 Dark Scorpion Cliff the Trap Remover. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can activate one of these effects. Target 1 spell or trap card on the field, destroy that target, or send the top 2 cards of their deck to the graveyard. Once again, focusing on the situation if your opponent will be playing a deck that is beneficial or not by having cards in their graveyards. You may want to focus on the first effect of Dark Scorpion Cliff the Trap Remover, being able to target 1 spell or trap on the field and destroy that target. Definitely a useful one for that, because then you can get rid of vital cards your opponent may have set up on the field to use in total, or just like I said, depending on the type of deck you're going up against, if they don't want to have cards in their graveyard, then the second effect is definitely useful also. I also run 3 Dark Scorpion Chick the Yellow, another level 3 monster. When it inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can activate one of these effects, target 1 card in the field, return that target to the hand, or look at the top card of their deck, then return to the top or bottom of the deck. So if they have a specific card that they want to use, then the second effect is definitely useful. It's not so much a mill effect with this card, but more of a, do you want to disrupt their setup, and being able to return targets on the field back to the hand as well can definitely be useful depending on the type of deck you're going up against for returning those pesky monsters or spell or traps to the hand for them not to be able to use against you. And then for the last member of the Dark Scorpion gang, I'm running 2 Dark Scorpion, Gorg the Strong. One of the more difficult ones to get out, just being the level 5, needing a tribute to summon it out. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can activate one of these effects. You can target one monster your opponent controls, return that target to the top of the deck, or you can send the top card of their deck to the graveyard. Now, being able to return it to the deck means that it won't be returned to the hand like Chick the Yellow, so they won't have resources to reuse again. They will have it when they draw into it, but Gorg the Strong also takes away from their draw power, so very useful in that situation, but you have to remember he is a level 5 monster, so you do need to tribute summon or use the other special summon, which we'll go over when we get to the spell cards, to summon out this Dark Scorpion onto the field. And being warrior monsters, I wanted to focus on just easy combos you could do using warrior monster support, so I'm also running 3 Marauding Captain. Your opponent cannot target warrior monsters for attacks except for this one, and when this card is normal summon, you can special summon 1 level 4 lower monster from your hand. So being able to special summon out a good amount of the different Dark Scorpion monsters we run, just having the option also for your opponent to attack into Marauding Captain first and protecting the Dark Scorpions you may have on the field to use later on for other plays is another beneficial part. But with Marauding Captain, my main go-to play is to use this card for special summoning out different monsters and then being able to use them for link summons that we have in the extra deck also. And then lastly, for the monsters, I run 1 Armageddon Knight. Now, this is just another good option for, special summoning resources back from the graveyard onto the field, being able to send any of the Dark Scorpion monsters we have from the deck to the graveyard to then special summon back onto the field as well, or just get them into the graveyard for you to use again that much easier using our Armageddon Knight, being all warrior monsters that are all also searchable, except for our Gorg the Strong with the reinforcements of the army also. And that is it for the monsters. I wanted to focus on as pure of a Dark Scorpion build as I could, but having the additional support of Marauding Captain and Armageddon Knight definitely helps just for supporting and setting up more of the combo plays for the deck. Now moving on to the spells, probably one of the best spells in the deck is Mustering of the Dark Scorpions. If you control a face-up Dawn's Lug, you can special summon any number of Dark Scorpion monsters from your hand, but only 1 copy of each. That's why I like running such a good variety of different Dark Scorpions in the deck. Once you set up your Dawn's Lug on the field, as long as you have the different number of Dark Scorpions in your hand, you can easily special summon them out onto the field, even the Gorg the Strong being a level 5 monster, and that giving you resources, even if you have all the different ones in your hand, can set up a full field of Dark Scorpion monsters on the field to use against your opponent, and then just being able to activate all the different effects by having the different damage given to your opponent by these cards in battle. So you definitely want 3 of this card. Like I said, Dawn's Lug is your most important card to set up on the field, so the faster you do that, the more and faster you can set up from this beneficial card also. And I also run 2 Transmodify. What's great about this is having all of them be different Dark Attribute Warrior monsters. If you have one of your level 4 or 3 Dark Scorpions on the field, it's just that much easier for your setup to go into. Being able to summon out, let's say, your Cliff the Trap Destroyer, activate your Transmodify, go into your Mene the Thorn, or even go from Mene to your Gorg the Strong, that much easier on the field for all of these different special summons. Even if you have your level 3 option, most of the time I want to go for our Dawn's Lug because this is the one you want set up for your spell of Mustering of the Dark Scorpions also. And we are running the Assault Engine. I'll go over the play combo for that much easier of play in the extra deck, just because this card being able to special summon out warrior monsters for the use of equip spells makes it that much easier. So for the equip spell lineup, I am running 1 Power of the Guardians. Not only if you open up this card, it's also easy to equip onto Dawn's Lug and protect your Dawn's Lug from your opponent's cards, but just that much easier having the different setup, including Phoenix Blade for your Warrior Banish Recycle, 1 Living Fossil for more special summoning options, Moon Mirror Shield, making it that much harder for your opponent to attack over your monsters on the field, and 1 DDR Different Dimension Reincarnation for special summoning back any of the cards we banish, which we'll be going over in just a second how you banish some of these cards in the deck anyway. But all these are set up for the Assault play. I like to have the 5 in the deck, so even if you open up 2 of them in your hand, if you summon out Assault, you still have the 3 to summon out one of your level 3 Dark Scorpions. If you have 4 still in the deck, that's Dawn's Lug. If it's 5, you have Gorg the Strong. And we went over the Dark Attribute for the Dark Scorpions already, but I run 3 Allure of Darkness. This card is just that much more beneficial for the fact that they are Dark Attribute. The only card it doesn't benefit is Marauding Captain, but with this card you want to summon it out so you can special summon, so you don't want to banish it anyway for that resource. But if you have multiples of the same name Dark Scorpion in your hand, being able to banish them for Allure of Darkness makes it all the better, because then you have draw power into better Dark Scorpions or different named ones, so you can then use musterings of the Dark Scorpion to special summon them out onto the field. And for some of the one-ofs in the deck, I'm running 1 Reinforcements of the Army, the search power for a good majority of all the different warrior monsters we run in this deck, especially Don Zalug, because you want to get that one quickly onto the field. 1 Monster Reborn for the setup with Armageddonite. You can even just send Gorg the Strong and then special summon it onto the field with Monster Reborn, that much easier. And also 1 Reasoning. We run a good amount of different level cards. If your opponent wants to take the risk and say level 4 so they can hit Don Zalug, there's a chance you can hit one of your level 5 or level 3 monsters and special summon it onto the field also. And that is it for the spells. We'll now move on to the traps. Now, there is a trap card for the Dark Scorpions. It is a very situational trap card, and what lets them all attack directly, but they only inflict 400 damage each with each attack, and you have to have all 5 on the field, so being a very difficult trap card to use, I decided to keep it out of the deck. But if you wanted to add any numbers of them, you can take out any copies of the traps we are running, which I'm just running a small Solemn Brigade, so 2 Solemn Strike, 2 Solemn Judgment, and 2 Solemn Warning. If you wanted to add in any of the Dark Scorpion trap, you can take out any spot. I would prefer the Solemn Warning and keep the Strikes and Judgments in the deck, but that is player preference at that point. Also, just if you want to try running that card, it definitely makes for a fun play when you can, activate it, having all 5 of the different Dark Scorpions on the field, but it is a very situational play, and you will benefit from all of the different Dark Scorpion effects when they attack directly and inflict damage to your opponent, but being only able to inflict 400 damage with each attack definitely hinders the play you may want to go for with it. That's why I enjoy the Solemn Brigade. There's really nothing in the deck that makes it so we have to pay life for anything, so you can use it all for this trap lineup for the deck. And that is it for the main deck. When I move on to the extra deck, I run the 1 Isolde, 2 Tales of the Noble Knights, being able to search out different warrior monsters. You're not able to use them that turn, but I use it mostly for the equip spell setup to special summon out one of our warrior monsters from the deck onto the field. I also run 1 Underclock Taker. Now, I really enjoyed this link too a lot more than I thought I would, just because then you can lower your opponent's monster's attack and then attack over them with the Dark Scorpions, inflicting damage to your opponent and then gaining the additional effects of the Dark Scorpions. I also run 2 Wee Witch's Apprentice. The boost in power for all of the Dark Attribute monsters we run in the deck is an added bonus as well using this card, and recycle power from the graveyard for maybe cards like Don Zalug, which are very needed for a bunch of the different plays also in the deck. For some of the other linked monsters, I run 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, and 1 Borolo Dragon, just for additional link monsters if you ever need them for destroying or taking care of other cards on your opponent's field if the effect damage isn't working for you. For the Xyz monsters, I run 1 number 47 Nightmare Shark, 1 Leviair, and 1 Phantom Knights of Breaksword. All good rank 3 options that we can use with yellow and also Cliff, both options to summon out, or even with Marauding Captain if need be when you summon those cards out with it. And for the rank 4 plays, I run 1 Heroic Champion Excalibur. For the warrior plays, a good boost to get over a good amount of cards on the field. 1 Tornado Dragon, 1 Gaga Cowboy, and 1 Daigusto Emerald to finish off the extra deck. Now, as for some of the plays you can do in the deck, we've already gone over a good amount of some of the general plays, but just being able to have any of your Dark Scorpions out with your Transmodify to gain you access to more and more cards on the field. But like I said, the big play to rely on is the Isolde play, which can help to set up a bunch of different cards on the field, with Isolde being able to, when it's summoned out, you can easily summon out using any of your other warrior plays. So let's say you open up with a Cliff the Trap Remover, the Marauding Captain, and let's say 2 other Dark Scorpions, and usually luck will entail that you will get maybe 1 of the equip spells, but with this being the case, you can either open up with one of the equip spells, or if you're lucky enough, one of the musterings of the Dark Scorpions. So what you'll do is you'll summon out your Marauding Captain. If you have a different name Dark Scorpion or one you would prefer, you keep that one in hand and special summon out the other Dark Scorpion, and then you'll link the 2 into your Isolde, the Tales of 2 Noble Knights, having these cards remaining in your hand if you drawed for turn and drew into a musterings of the Dark Scorpion, or if you had one or the other in your hand going first. What you'll do then is activate Isolde, sending all all of the remainder of the equip spells to equal out to the level you want to summon. If you have all 4 still remaining in the deck, you'll send them to summon out your main go-to card, which is your Don Zalug. And once you summon him out, you meet the requirements for the musterings of the Dark Scorpion. If you have the additional equip spell, whichever one you had in your hand, if it was Power of the Guardians, you can equip it onto Don Zalug for that added benefit. The Moon Mirror Shield to attack over anything that it battles. Even Phoenix Blade for the summon. But Living Fossil can even special summon a monster you used from your graveyard for the link summoning of Don Zalug back onto the field for you to use. But then what you have in your hand is the main setup, which is your musterings of the Dark Scorpion. If you control face-up Don Zalug, you can special summon any number of Dark Scorpions from your hand, but only 1 copy of each, giving you the option to summon more and more cards on the field, having your Dark Scorpion setup, or even just more and more resources to go into cards in the extra deck. And that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. This is definitely an interesting deck. I'm finally glad I was able to make a deck profile that focuses on all of the different Dark Scorpions. Like I said, maybe one day we'll see more and more support for all 5 of them in the form of these spells we got from the GX anime. Like I said, there was definitely a funny pair of characters. Dual spirits is what they were in the series to see for that one episode. But until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira, Twig out.